Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Excuse me. We've covered a handful of this week's books already. Now it's on to the next batch. Kicking things off with Amazing Spider-Man number 2. Legacy number is 896. So where we left off, the Rose had ordered a bombing on Tombstone's townhouse. Also, Tombstone had asked Peter Parker to pass along a message to Spider-Man that Spider-Man was his new project. Also, something happened 6 months ago. Peter is pretty much on the outs with everyone, including Mary Jane, who is with someone else, and yeah. So begin with Norman Osborne showing up at Peter's apartment. He's a job for Peter. Apparently Norman has turned over something of a new leaf after the recent senior story. That job, however, is babysitting. In Harlem, the Beetle, the new Beetle, Janice Lincoln, shows up, volunteered to help her father in his war against the Rose. However, Tombstone doesn't want his daughter's help. To kind of show it as a means of showing that he's going back to his older ways. Turns out that a while back, Tombstone got all his teeth capped. His teeth used to be filed in into I don't want to say fangs, but they were. He had his teeth were all sharp. And so, after his daughter leaves, Tombstone removes the caps. Peter goes to the Harlem docks to figure out what's going on when it comes to White Rabbit and crew. Her goons aren't shooting though. With apparently even low level criminal help is willing to say, hey, dude saved my life, I gotta shoot him. But he does. Spider-Man gets some information from White Rabbit and webs up her and the end of the hired help to the vehicle they've got. And Peter goes to the upper. Spider-Man heads off to the Upper East Side. Where Tombstone is meeting with Crime Master, who he's trying to stay neutral in the whole thing. When Peter arrives at the Upper East Side, Tombstone has slaughtered Crime Master's men, and Peter and Spider-Man leaps right into Tombstone's trap. A panel truck where the walls can close in, which they start to do. But Tombstone manages to deliver a decent beating to Spider-Man before going to the docks. where White Rabbit is waiting. As sending Spider-Man to the Upper East Side to where Tombstone was part of the plan. Things are starting to pick up a bit. The first issue kind of felt much like a kind of hey, this is what happened. This is the new status quo, and now we're kind of seeing how things play out in that new status quo, and so far so good. Moving on to our next book, we've got Spider-Man 2099 Exodus #1. Where we left off, a dead Celestial had crashed into the wastelands outside New York. And Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, had to enlist the aid of the Zero Cochran, the Ghost Rider of 2099, help him with hacking a drive belonging to a group called the Cabal. In hacking it, Spider-Man had to face off against a green-tinted monster. But it turns out that it was a specific type of monster. It was, in fact, a goblin. And it's revealed that the head of the Cabal of 2099 is none other than the somehow still alive Norman Osborn. And there's a massive bounty on the Celestial Corpse, which is from which a new Garden of Eden seems to have sprung up. So, in Transverse City, Spider-Man has managed to get the survivors of Ghost Rider's Ghost Spire there and got them there safely. But he wants to bring down the Cabal, and Ghost Rider explains that he does know someone who can do it, but they don't do stuff like this for money. It's information they want, the kind of information that Spider-Man doesn't have, but the kind that Ghost Rider can find. In Zimny-Mech, Siberia, part of the Free Russian Alliance, a woman walks up to an odd-looking facility. She is in fact she's identified as being Winter Soldier number 13, and she showed up to take down the last of the scientists who made her, and ultimately sold her out. But he has a Mysterium data drive, broken but capable of being healed, which has contains her past. Soldier punches the guy in the head, killing him, takes the drive, and a few days later, also takes his black card. But a few days later, heads to Ontario, where the body dropped. But someone's waiting on her. Crossbones of 2099, a member of a product of the same project that created her, the Winter Soldier. Turns out that the Crossbones of 2099 has killed multiple Winter Soldiers, including Bucky Barnes. That he's one of the Chop cyborg bloodhounds, or the Boneyard's cyborg bloodhounds. Also, it turns out that the Winter Soldier of 2099, she generates an EMP field, which Cyborg is protected against, which Crossbones is protected against. But she manages to deal with Crossbones, removing the arm, taking the arm of Bucky Barnes with her for killing him. And she goes to the Celestial Garden, places the Mysterium data drive in a lake, and then sets the drive on her new arm, the former arm of cybernetic arm of Bucky Barnes, and her memories all come back. But she then uses her EMP abilities to get rid of the murmur net. Like, no more murmur net, no more gig economy for killers, no more forbidden footage. The entire dark metaverse is shut down. The silence to shut down the Cabal's bounty. Since Madame Webb, who runs the MurmurNet, keeps her servers airborne, it's explained that it wasn't fun. It wasn't easy to take them down, but it was fun. But Spider-Man and the Soldier meet up, and she explains to him that after what she's done, it seems the Cabal will be more interested in locking down the Celestial Garden. But Spider-Man points out they won't be using desperate people to do it. So if Osborne wants his prize, he's going to have to get his own hands dirty. And that is where the issue ends. This kind of emphasized this issue really kind of brought back memories of a lot of the reason why I really liked the 2099 line as a whole. That was the idea of the future versions of modern heroes. Spider-Man, Punisher, Ghost Rider, and also 2099 versions of modern villains. Jigsaw, Vulture, so on and so forth. It doesn't surprise me that the Winter Soldier program will continue on into the future. It was a nice touch that Crossbones had apparently killed Bucky Barnes and taken his arm. Also a nice touch was the mention of Mysterium, since that's largely only been a thing to be brought. That's only been largely been brought up in X books and a few of the modern Marvel Cosmic books, but more in Sword than anywhere else. But it should make for an interesting. So far, the 2099 Exodus story is shaping up to be interesting. It is an interesting way of celebrating the 30th anniversary of the 2099 line. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Detective Comics number 1060. Where we left off, a string of citizen criminals were plaguing Gotham. People with no history of, no criminal records, suddenly committing various criminal acts. Among those injured in these acts was Deb Donovan's daughter. The issue opens with Bruce Wayne having dinner with Deb's daughter. Apparently, Deb tailed her daughter on her first date. But Bruce asks a few questions about recent events, though Her Honor shuts him down. She doesn't talk shop outside of work. Batman does some digging. The influencer, Sarah Pett, isn't seeking legal counsel, pleading guilty to all charges. The gas attack at the bank from the previous issue was committed by John Harper was non-lethal, though Harper still committed suicide. Batman receives an SOS from Deb Donovan, or Batwoman receives an SOS from Deb Donovan and lets Batman know there's been a break-in in Gotham Gazette. Batman goes to investigate. Is almost clocked by Deb Donovan herself with a it might be a Pulitzer, but But she explains that she's researching the citizen criminals thing. But it turns out that Harper was involved in an accident that led to the death of a 5-year-old boy when he was 15. Never got pinned for it. Harper's parents got best lawyers, PIs, the works. And they dug up the fact that the boy's parents had both been in rehab. Mother and father got put away for neglect instead. Batman asks if Deb thinks it's tied to the gas attack, and it's at least something. But using a forensic scan, someone did break into the office, and they kicked the door in. Apparently, this person was a brunette. A match is found for the hair sample to one Darby Turner, a friend of Bruce Wayne's and Deb Donovan, as well as Deb Donovan's daughter, and how they initially met. Batman seeks out Talia to see if she knows anything about Darby Turner. Apparently her family was ruined, running a small-time money laundering scheme for some people downtown. But Deb meets with someone at what appears to be the train station, and we want to talk more privately. However, she's taken Deb to the Gotham Gazette. She's got a suitcase full of explosives and a gun trained on Deb. Batman saves Deb, and it's revealed to be that the woman that Deb was meeting with was none other than Darby Turner, who tries to leap off the building. Batman manages to save her. The guy who identified her, who apparently also received it, tells Darby that they're both being blackmailed, and the blackmail will never end. But Batman saves Darby. Her friend asks if she's okay, and Batman explains that she's fine, she's unconscious, when the young man is shot by Carolyn Donovan. And that is where our A story ends. Our B story, Gotham Girl Interrupted. Gotham Girl, freshly out of Arkham Tower, is reintegrating into society as her civilian alter ego. In high school, she joined the drama club. One of the members of the drama club was also a student. Was also in Arkham Tower and developed an interest. But Gotham Girl goes to the school to see what's up about something and finds her friend dead. Seemingly a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But Chase Meridian steps in when she's being questioned, and Gotham Girl returns to Wayne Manor, where she's hiding out to try and get into the laptop, when she's attacked by people working for Paul Perlman, who think that because of the Gotham Girl website, that Gotham Girl is after their boss. She gives them a choice. They can either help her figure out how to hack the laptop, or she can stop the so she can stop the site from leaking more gossip, or they can all end up in the hospital for not minding their own business. They opt to help her, and she gets some information, heads back to Arkham Tower, talk to Dr. Meridian, who it seems may be not as good of a character as we've been led to believe. But the issue ends with Gotham Girl flying out through the window of Dr. Meridian's office with Dr. Meridian in tow. Both stories are getting interesting. I think I mentioned this with the last issue that I'm not too terribly familiar with Gotham Girl. I've read some of Tom King's Batman run where she was introduced. Her and her brother Gotham, that including how they got their powers, and both Gotham died. As I recall, Gotham died, and Gotham Girl kind of had a mental break. I know that she ended up during City of Bane working with the Flashpoint Batman, but all in all, good issue. The A story is definitely one to continue, and then it's definitely piqued my interest. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Harley Quinn number 15. Where we left off, Batwoman had broken Harley out of jail. Out of jail. Meanwhile, Kevin's girlfriend Sam was struck with mysterious injuries, leading Kevin to potentially think that maybe Sam is the verdict. At the GCPD, a guy's brought in claiming to be working for Batman, but purse snatching. Though it stated, there were drugs in the purse. It was Tylenol. So our potential police ally for Harley is looking into things, because the whole thing with Harley killing the mob bosses seems a little too neat and tidy. Some of the forensic reports also support this. Meanwhile, Harley stops. Batwoman is taking Harley a big belly burger so she can get, because Harley's hungry, and Harley just opts to get food for both of them. Though Batwoman said she didn't want anything. And Batwoman explains that she knows Harley didn't commit the murders, because another one happened after she was at the Blackgate. So the whole thing is they're going to break into the GCPD to check the file. Only the officers there waiting. There's a bit of a tussle between Harley, Batwoman, and the officer, but the whole thing comes out that Harley is not Harley. It can't be, because there was a murder of the same MO committed after she was at the Blackgate. But they may have there were traces of fertilizer and chemicals found in fertilizers, so they go to the greenhouse that Harley and Ivy used to live in together, taking on the verdict. And they seem to subdue her until the verdict activates an explosive, blowing up the greenhouse, and escapes. Meanwhile, the verdict ends up at Sam, Kevin's girlfriend, smashes into his bathroom, horribly injured, and seemingly outing herself to him as the verdict. And that is where the issue ends. This has been an interesting story so far. It should also be noted there was throughout the issue, Harley's inner narration, so to speak, talks about the masks that people wear. Not so much in a in a literal sense, so much as in a figurative sense, reflecting on some of the masks that she wore over time, and like the ones and how she managed to get to a point of not feeling the need to wear it. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Task Force Z number 8. Where we left off, Task Force Z was going after Powers International, while Dick Grayson went to get a Lazarus resin sample that he had given to Batman. Waiting, of course, until Batman had left, and running into Oracle. At Powers International's headquarters, Mr. Bloom is experimenting on the resurrected Man-Bat when Dr. Acheron shows up. And Mr. Bloom is comically morbid as always. Jason and Barbara talk a bit, and Jason gets the sample, but turns out that Nightwing's waiting for him outside. Batman shows up where the rest of the task force is outside the Powers International. After sucker punching Nightwing, well, turns out Red Robin's there too, and Batgirl, Cassandra. Batman's being kept distracted by the rest of Task Force Z, and in fact his car's blown up. Red Hood, during the fight, Red Hood bumps into a woman with some groceries, and ends up breaking Tim Drake's nose, and they end up fighting in a subway station with Dick being knocked on the tracks, though Jason saves him, which gives Dick the opportunity to sucker punch Jason. But Batgirl explains that notes that Jason's trying to keep everyone off balance. Knows them all too well. Playing for sympathy, taunting them, all of it, trying to distract them. And Cass is asked, so what's he trying to distract from? And she points out the woman. The one with the groceries was working with him. And Jason gave her the resin. Batman arrives at Task Force Z's lab, finding a note. Sorry, hi Batman, sorry you missed us. Heart, Task Force Z. P.S. Sorry about the Bat car. And when Batman contacts the rest of the Bat Squad, Jason manages to escape via a subway train passing through. And that is where the issue ends. It's a fun issue. Honestly, this whole series has been fun. I appreciated the moment where with Jason Todd getting some revenge on Bane for Bane killing Alfred. But yeah, good. It's been a good run so far. I'm definitely enjoying it. Moving on to our last book, we have Batman Fortress. Number 1. So this is a miniseries written by the screenwriter from Rogue One, a Star Wars tale. Do we have a credits page? Or is that at the end? Well, it's at the end, isn't it? Scheisse. But Gary Whitta, and drawn by Derek Robertson. So the basic idea: a massive blackout has seemingly hit Gotham. We open with some crooks breaking into Wayne Manor. Just figure, grab anything. They even go for Martha's pearls. Bruce Wayne takes them down. Not Batman. Bruce Wayne. At GCPD headquarters, some car batteries have been repurposed to power the bat signal, just to shine into the sky. If nothing else, maybe that'll make it cause everyone to think twice about going out of the streets. But it's also been revealed that there's been a mass breakout at Arkham. Everyone's out. And it seems the blackout isn't just localized to Gotham. It seems to be a worldwide phenomenon. And one thing that Batman notes is that Superman is nowhere to be seen. No reports of him at all, anyway. The satellites he has scanned for Superman's energy signature are coming up with nothing. Batman goes to GCPD headquarters, is informed of the breakout, works out a means of keeping in touch with the GCPD as he manages to bring down the various escaped criminals. He also deals with the fact that even with the bat signal out, there are still people in the streets causing trouble. At Gotham Harbor, he stops Penguin from drowning someone. Joker's taking over a school bus, and Batman manages to take out the Joker, and very nearly lets Joker die, if it weren't for the school children watching. But Batman's making his way through also stops in Crime Alley to deal with, just to make sure. And when he returns to the Batcave, still no sign of Superman. But one of the satellites has found something. It appears to be an alien warship. Cloaked, but still, its physical presence is able to release one of the various means of detection. It is at least able to, not so much sonar, but and Alfred asks, if Batman's declaring war on this alien race, and Batman explains they declared war, so now it's time for them to hit back hard, and that is where the issue ends. Very interesting. So I've been looking forward to this for a while. I follow artist Derek Robertson on Twitter, and especially this past week, he's been talking up the book. But even before that, just, the occasional, oh yes, check out Batman Fortress. And I've also been seeing ads in various DC books for it. So the concept seems interesting. Batman thwarting an alien invasion while Superman's nowhere to be found. Hey, I'm curious to see how he pulls that one off. But anyway, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.